I'm always having to explain what that affirmation means. But it's a very powerful affirmation when we do understand exactly what it means. What it means is that there's nothing you're required to do. And maybe it would have been easier if God had put it that way, but I think God wanted us to think a little bit about it. To think, well, what is that all about? There's nothing we have to do. There's nothing we have to do does not mean there's nothing we will do, or that we will choose to do, or that we will want to do, or that we'll be doing in our lives. See, life is about being and doing. We step into a place of beingness, and from that place of beingness emerges a doingness function in the world. But it's not the other way around. Many people think that there is something we have to do, that is something that we are required to do by God or by life or by the situation or the circumstance. I got to do this, I got to do this. You know, the old saying, do what you have to do. Well, just do what you have to do, Jim. I understand. Nobody has to do anything. That affirmation was so powerful for me when I really grasped the implications of it. What if it was true that there's nothing you have to do, nothing that you're required to do by any person, by any situation, by any circumstance? Everything that you do is done out of choice. Sometimes it's what do they call it? Hobson's choice? Is that what the phrase they use? When it looks like there's no real choice, it's like, the choice between two evils, if you will. But it is, in fact, nevertheless, and inarguably, always a choice. It's always a choice. So there's nothing you have to do has placed the power back over here in my life and allowed me to notice that, all the choices I'm making, every one, are choices that I'm making. See, all the choices I'm making are choices I'm making. They're not things I'm being required to do. It's not stuff I have to do. So that has opened up a whole new vista for me, a whole new way of seeing life, a whole new way of experiencing life that puts me, in fact, in the driver's seat and allows me to notice something that I said to you earlier in one of the prior lessons. Nobody does anything they don't want to do. So once we get that affirmation clear in our minds, we start to feel empowered. We start to step closer and closer to what it's like to live your life as God. These affirmations, remember, that I'm sharing with you today are affirmations that allow you to live your life as God. We're all one. God certainly lives life in that way. There's enough. God certainly lives life that way. There's nothing you have to do. Surely God lives life that way. So really the first three, and these by the way were the first three messages I received in conversations with God, as you may remember. If you don't remember that, go back to the first book, book 1, the first 5 pages. It's very early in the 3,000-page dialogue. First 5 or 7 pages, there it is. And I know that what was happening there is that God was trying to allow me to notice what it was like to be God. What is it really like to be divine? Well, says God, I can tell you in just a couple of sentences. I experienced that we are all one. I experienced that there's enough. And I experienced that there's nothing I have to do. Nothing that I have to or am required to do. Who would do the requiring? Obviously there's enough because I am all of it. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the now and the then, the before and the after of it. I am all of it. So obviously whatever there is, I am. Therefore there's always enough. And for the same reason, because whatever there is, I am one. We are all one. So I want to share with you that these 3 affirmations, taken as a whole, as a single statement, if you please, of being, a single statement of beingness, can shift your reality. And I know it's not easy to inside of those statements, as I said earlier, every moment of your life. But you begin to, how would I say it? You begin to don the mantle, yes? You begin to put on the garment of it. You begin to dress yourself in those ideas more and more as you commit to doing so. It's a process of commitment. It's a process of stepping into your awareness, of opening to the awareness that it's possible that these things are actually true. We're all one. There's enough. And you know what? When I think about it, to be truthful, there's nothing I have to do. The last of our affirmations is really a 3-in-1 affirmation. I call it the triad process. The triad process is the most empowering set of declarations that I've come across in the Conversations with God material. If you embrace these three statements, the triad process, it will, I think, move you a giant step closer to living your life as God. So let's explore the triad process. The first statement in the process is a kind of a tough one. So let's step into it. The statement is, nothing in this world is real. Nothing in this world is real. How can that possibly be true? Well, it would be true if everything in the world was an illusion. So what we're saying in the first of the three declarations of empowerment is that I am living, you are living, we are living in an illusory world. We really have fallen down the rabbit hole. We are sitting there at the dining table with the Mad Hatter, who's pouring tea into a cup with no bottom and swearing to us that what is so is not so, and that what is not so is so. And we are living in this illusory world, not unwillingly. That is, we're not trapped here. We haven't been placed here, somehow against our will, or find ourselves here, in a place that we don't want to be, wondering what we're doing and how we get out. It's really just the opposite. We have placed ourselves in this illusory world as part of a wonderful magic act, we might say, as part of a wonderful process by which we use the magic of the illusion of life to create the expressions and the experiences of life such that we can reinvent ourselves, recreate ourselves anew, and experience exactly who we really are in the next grandest version of the greatest vision ever we held about that, which is the purpose of the human soul. The soul has come to the body that it might use the body and the mind and itself and the soul in a process by which the totality of our being, the total essence of who you are, can experience and express itself as divine, as divinity. We've come here to express divinity. We've come here, if I could use simple language, to give God a chance to know itself in experience, in us, through us, and as us, and in all of life. Now, in order to do that, we, as an outpicturing or an aspect of God, have to place ourselves in an environment that is not really ultimate reality. So we've gone down the rabbit hole. We've placed ourselves in what I call the realm of relativity, or if you please, the realm of physicality, which is an environment in which things are not what they seem to be. For instance, as an example, I'll give you a simple example. We all know this. Physics now tells us this, and we've all heard this. Everything is 98% air, 98% space, and only 2% matter. That's the ultimate reality. So if you saw my hand, in ultimate reality, you would see 98% space and 2% air. I mean 2% matter is what did I say air before? I meant to say matter. So 98% space and only 2% matter. And that's what you would see if you really saw ultimate reality. But here's what's going on that creates the illusion of solidity. The illusion of solidity. What's going on is that the 2% of matter that is there is moving around so quickly. The speed with which it rotates around particles of itself is so rapid that those pieces of matter, those little chunks of matter, are never in any one place for more than a billionth of a nanosecond. They're constantly moving so rapidly that they're never in any one place at any given time. But they seem to be, in human terms, in terms of human time, in all places at once. And because they seem to be in all places at once, because we cannot see them clearly enough in one place, they seem solid to us. Now I'm going to give you an example of how that works. If you were to take any object like a pencil with a little white eraser on the end of it, or get a little straw, take a straw and put a little white piece of paper, glue it to the top like this, okay? Now hold it in front of your face like this and let yourself look at the white object at the top. If you move it slowly back and forth, you can follow it and you'll follow the white dot. But if you move it rapidly, very, very rapidly, all of a sudden what happens? You know what happens because we've all played this game with toys when we were kids. What happens is as you try to find the white, it looks like a straight line. It looks like a straight, solid line going from here to here. You cannot tell that it's one single thing moving so fast. And you would swear that it's a straight line. We had the same effect, by the way, looking at the blades of a fan or the spokes of a bicycle wheel. The illusion of solidity created by motion and speed. That's what is meant by the statement, nothing in this world is real.